spot. Should we do stomach or butt? We're gonna do the butt first. So let's making the first incision. So, when you do this, what you're gonna want to do is make a hole that's at least 4 to 6 inches wide. For this one especially, this is one thing that you guys can do at home. All you will need is a stuffed animal that has a mouth flap that is open, like the two that I'm doing, and you're just gonna want to cut a hole in, most likely in the butt section, because if we're making a pup, we can use this as a puppet. And if you're older and you have this, I think you can probably use like 2 fingers for the mouth because they're not too big. But if it has a mouth opening for any stuffed animal you can use, or you can just buy a puppet, but this is the easy way. So what you're going to want to do is empty all the fur out, but not all of it. Only the head and the middle body section. I didn't empty the legs, and I don't advise you to. I mean, you can, but you're going to want a big bowl because this takes up a lot. There's a lot of fur in them. So I'm just like taking all the stuff out, and there's a lot of fur in the actual, or the fluff in the actual like mouth bit. So just cutting it open and made the hole a little bigger. I actually have a hamper full of, or not full, but a little bit of the bottom of the hamper full of fluff. So now I'm just turning it inside out. And also, if you have any questions, comment them down below. And next video, I think I'll do it on grooming and maintaining the puppet. So I just made the hole a little bit bigger, and now I'm turning it inside out. FYI, there's a part later up where in the nose bit, there was a pointy thing, so I had to cut it off. So what I just did right now is there was like a little thing holding all the fluff in the nose, so I had to cut that, and then I was just like trying to get it out. And what I found helped get it out is like if you took your fingers and like rubbed them back and forth in the nose and then just pulled that out, I found that got the fur out pretty well. We will be doing the other one after this. That one it's not all time lapse and has some stuff, but pause the video anytime you like and you can do anything you want. But this one isn't the best outcome. The other one is. I think it's just because of the mouth shape and stuff. But what I'm just doing now is trying to get all of the fur or fluff off of the head bit. I turned it inside out. Keep the fluff though. 100% keep all the fluff. I'm using 2 things from Build-A-Bear that I had. You should keep a lot of the fluff because you're going to need to use it again. And even when you're done with this, you should probably keep it. So then if you need to put some back in. Right now, I was just like playing like with it and seeing how it opened and stuff. And just trying to get all the fluff out. And it took a long time. Like it took about 30 minutes to do, 38 minutes or so. So this is an 8-minute video, and it took about, well, this clip is 8 minutes, but there's other clips. So this is gonna be roughly 21 minutes long. I think you've already seen that. But I was just trying to keep getting all the fluff out of only the head and the body, but not the legs. And there was that brown stuff covering up the snoot, I'll call it. And I'm really happy with the outcome. This is a good way to get a puppet, but it's not like the best type. But just continuing to just get all of that fur out, and that took the longest. So There might be an easier way to get out, but there was like some strings that it was stuck on for like from sewing. And there's dogs. So I just literally spent like pretty much the rest of this just getting all the fluff out for this. And I tried to put some cardboard on because that's what you do with normal ones, but it didn't work for the mouth plate thing. So again, just trying to get all of this out, and I was just messing with it, seeing how it is. This is not what it looked like at the end. That's the piece that was poking my hand. That's the nose. The other one does not have that. You don't have to have the same type. Anything that has a mouth opening like that that's big enough will work. And later on, there'll be a picture of it when I do the other one. So I just took my pocket knife and it has a saw, and I was just going at it forever. It took about like 20 minutes pretty much of just sawing it off. I don't know if the one that you're doing it with has that, but mine did. So I literally it took so long to get off, and I was doing it forever. But it finally eventually came off. But if it does come off, I would advise you to take a nail filer and then just file it down a little bit so that it will be smooth and it won't be any like pokey. But just so you guys know, this does make a bit of a mess. I mean, my room right now is covered in fluff pretty much. But I advise you to get a bin or a bowl. I pinched myself with the scissors there. But yeah, on to the next. Say that bit. It's time-lapse time. Oh my god. I know I haven't started the time-lapse yet, but that was so easy. Okay, time-lapse time. So I just started cutting a hole into it, and you want to make sure it's at least 4 to 6 inches wide, because when you turn it inside out, you want to make sure that you have enough room for it. And I was just taking all the fluff out. This one had a bit less fluff, but it still was a lot. And I advise you, if you have one like this, don't take it out of the hands or legs because it won't really work. So I just had to make the hole a bit bigger. The head is sort of in the body, so don't worry, I didn't cut it off. Again, if you have any questions, just leave them down, and if there's a certain time that you want to know something, just put the time mark in. So that's what the head looked like. I was just getting a lot of the fluff off, and it was a lot easier. But this part, I was just cutting it, and yeah. So what I did here is Spot had a little seam around where it would hold all of the fluff in where the mouth is. And you want to make sure you don't cut the seam. And the seam is what's the sewing bit around it. I cut around half an inch to an inch away from that. It was probably not an inch. It might have been like a half an inch, but you don't want to cut that bit because your whole thing could just go boom. And then I was just getting all the fluff out. He's inside out, by the way, right now. So it's that little bit, that thing that where the scissors is cutting, that's the seam. And it's just to hold all of the bit of fluff in it. And yeah. So here I was just getting all of the seam bit off, because if you don't have that barrier off, then you can't use it, because there's a lot of fluff in there, and that's where the actual out bit of the mouth is. So you're gonna have to, if it does come with that, not all of them come with that, but I'm pretty sure they all have something to hold the fluff in. So if you do now have the seam open and start removing the fluff, what you should start seeing is like, well, fluff, but also something that looks like a tongue. And that's good, because then you didn't rip a hole in your puppet or your stuffed animal. This was Spots. He's inside out right now, by the way, so this is where, if you're making it into a puppet, your hand will go. These are where the eyes are. No, doesn't. Oh, there's his nose. So you should see this. And I think Spot's going to be better for puppetrying, only because if you guys know making a puppet, when you have that type of thing, you want to put like cardboard on that so that when you mouth it, it helps. But I'm going to do that a little later. So I'm just going to keep removing the fluff and turn him back in right side out, I think. That's what it's called. So all that you're going to want to do is keep removing all the fluff from it. Okay, so now when you have it turned back inside, or right side out, it should be all floppy like this. Okay, so here's his heart. It was right where, when I first opened him, where the butt was. So what I did, just so you guys know, is I cut a hole right around his rear section / butt, or whatever you want to call it. But I'm not taking anything out of the arms or legs. I don't think the ears don't have anything in it. You can do whatever you want. He looks so weird, but he works as a puppet. Now I think I'm just gonna add some fluff into his head, so his head isn't so floppy. So let's do it. So when you do this, you want to make sure that you don't put too much in, just enough so that when it rests on your hand, it holds up. And I mentioned this later. Okay, so when you do that, you don't want to put too much in, just enough so that when it rests on your hand, it doesn't. He has still a little bit of a head. I think I'm gonna have to add some down there, but it can just rest on your hand without it having to go everywhere. Now he's looking more like a puppet. Yeah. Hello, folks at home. How are you doing today? I am Spot the puppet. I was a stuffed animal, but let's just get our final product, and hopefully you found this tutorial thingy helpful. Yeah, so let's go. So I was just adding a tiny bit of fluff around, making him more poofy, we'll say, but again, not too much because it won't work. So yeah. I think I'm gonna add a tiny touch of fluff around the nose to make it look more like a nose. But remember, not too much. I'm literally adding like a teaspoon. I find that using my left hand for puppeteering with these types are easier to do. Don't know why, but it is for me. Now, you can make arm rods, and I will try to do that, but I don't know if I have the right materials for it. You don't have to keep the tongue, but if you want to, you can, and add any accessories you want. But what I'm just going to do right now is get a little bit of fluff in the front, so it's not too floppy. Just remember, again, always not too much, because you don't want to refill it or make it too small for it, or make him look too big. I think that looks good. Maybe down a little in that area, like that, and just compact it down so it doesn't try to go a bunch of places. And yeah, that's he actually looks really good. I think we can try to work on the other one too, but yay. Yeah, he didn't really take anything out of the arms. You don't really have to worry about the backside because no one's gonna be seeing it. You're not gonna be showing the camera like that. But it's comfortable, it's good, and I like it. Now, for live hands, I will make a video on that later. But let's just see what we can do to make that guy a little better. Okay, I think, well, just heads up, if you haven't started this yet, this is going to get a little messy. So what I think for starters is we can add some fluff to the head just to give him a little more life. This is if you have old stuffed animals that have a mouth and you want to like maybe turn it into a puppet, you can with this. If you have any questions, please do ask, and I will try to make a video on them. Hey, I think that worked. I think we've got 2 good running puppets. Spot's a little better, but yeah. Any questions, please comment down below. I'll try to make a video on it. Bye! I'll do videos on other stuff like grooming and keeping up. So, bye!